Daniel spent several days fasting in the hope that God would hear his prayers and give an answer to his ills and problems that afflicted him, because several days ago he had a terrible vision. In that vision, Daniel saw how Jerusalem was suffering from the worst evils because of sinners and haters of God. The vision was clear, and it said that Jerusalem was doomed to receive 70 years of famine and suffering, and thus its fate would be fixed, without mercy. That is how Daniel started fasting, acclaiming mercy for himself and his people. Weeks passed, and Daniel, with his thin body, did not give up. He believed that at any moment God would give him the message that he needed so much. On the other hand, in the heavens, from the first day when Daniel began the fast, begging for mercy for Jerusalem, as a faithful servant of the Lord of the heavens, God had immediately sent the answer to his questions and his overwhelming problems with one of his most powerful archangels. Gabriel would have been God's chosen one to bring the divine message to Daniel. The archangel, grateful to God for the order he received, began the journey through the desert to reach the chambers of the prophet Daniel, who was looking to God for salvation. On the way, the archangel saw a dark shadow in the distance, and while he was trying to avoid it, a terrifying being appeared before him, interrupting his long journey. A dark and terrible being, who was not human, suddenly appeared. This demonic being had a face like lightning. His dreadful hands and feet were made of bronze. Terrible horns adorned his head like a crown, and from his eyes came frightful flashes of red lights. Gabriel bravely confronted the demon and said to him, "In the name of the Lord, let me pass, or his fury will be unleashed upon you." When the archangel finished speaking, a booming voice was heard shaking the earth, a voice that sounded like that of a sinister and evil multitude. "I am the Prince of Persia, the most powerful spiritual principality of war and confrontation against the people of God," said the demon. Gabriel, enraged by the prince's words, since he had offended the kingdom of heaven and its deer, drew his powerful sword and threw himself against the demon, trying to get him out of the way, defeat him, and thus continue with his duty. Unfortunately, the angel underestimated the power of the sinister prince, who immediately began to dodge the attacks of the godsend, thus beginning a great battle. The prince unleashed his great fury against God, hitting Gabriel with all his strength and shouting blasphemies against him and his kingdom. His power was such that the archangel could not even hit him, thinking that perhaps this fight would never end without the help of the highest. The battle gave no truce. Days passed and both continued with the bloody struggle that demonstrated the great domain that possessed the demons in Persia, where it was said that inhabited the worst and most terrible infernal beings. Day and night the din of the confrontation was heard, until one night in the darkness the powerful infernal prince called several warrior demons surrounding Gabriel, who defended himself with great haughtiness and courage, for in spite of his disadvantage he would not give up. "The most powerful demon of Persia will be defeated by the power of God, and by his most loyal servant," shouted Gabriel. Upon hearing him, the prince gave a slight laugh and said, "Here is a powerful warrior of the infernal kingdom. However, a stronger and more hostile one is about to arrive to end the divine revelation to the people of God, the great demonic prince of Persia." The only and greatest objective that the prince of Persia sought was to prevent the message that Gabriel carried from being delivered and revealed, for this message was so powerful that it would change the course of human behavior, which the demons wished to control. The infernal kingdom sought to dominate the actions of people on earth for their malevolent benefit, so battling with the emissaries of God was a must. They took Gabriel and chained him. They held him there for several days among the most macabre demons of Persia. The divine herald would not surrender, and when he managed to escape, a battle was unleashed between him and the Prince of Persia. Several days had already passed since Gabriel's departure to earth, so the Archangel Michael went out to look for him, for it was known to God that his deer was fighting against a dark demonic prince, and that Gabriel could not defeat him, but rather was placated before the great power of the infernal being. Michael descended the path of the earth until he reached Persia in search of his beloved celestial companion so that he could free him to fulfill his divine duty. The Archangel Michael saw from on high that the two continued in a fierce struggle, and that for brief moments the prince struck down Gabriel and mocked him and God. Seeing those crude moments with his eyes, Michael descended and began to fight the demon with great fury, for he could not understand how this demon had so much strength and power that one of the most powerful in heaven could not defeat him. A breath of tranquility filled Gabriel's being, seeing that his equal was helping him in the terrible battle for the good of humanity and for the kingdom of heaven. Both joined forces, however. The terrible infernal principality seemed undeterred and continued to give great struggle. With his mighty sword he protected himself from the blows of the angels, who were so exhausted by the endless struggle that tormented them. On the 21st day, the divine power illuminated the archangel protectors of the heavenly hosts and the throne of God, managing to overthrow the sinister demon, so that Gabriel escaped at an impressive speed from the kingdom of Persia to take refuge from the evil one and give the sacred message that Daniel so much expected for his people. While the Archangel Gabriel fled, the Prince of Persia told him that the fight was not yet dictated, for they had not yet fought against the most powerful of the infernal warriors, and that as soon as that demonic being arrives in Persia, a colossal battle will be unleashed to finish with the people of God and his protectors. Gabriel managed to reach the Tigris River, where Daniel was meditating while waiting for God's answer. A great light illuminated Daniel's face and a heavenly air made him wake up, so Daniel understood that what he was seeing was an envoy of the Almighty. "Do not be afraid, Daniel, for from the first day that you gave your heart to understand and to humble yourself before your God, your words have been heard and I myself have come because of your words." Daniel's heart was quickened, for his prayers were heard for the salvation of his people. The archangel's words encouraged Daniel, who immediately rose to kneel before him. The Archangel Gabriel began to speak to Daniel and explained to him the reason for his delay. "Dear Daniel, the prince of the royal region of Persia was planted in opposition to me for 21 days. He kept me in Persia fighting an endless war, yet I have managed to come to you thanks to Michael, one of the prominent princes of the kingdom of heaven who came to help me. And I, for my part, remained there at the side of the kings of Persia." Daniel did not understand what Gabriel said, for he was dazed and disoriented. Then the angel continued saying, "Pay attention, Daniel, for your understanding is necessary for what I will reveal to you, since according to the scriptures this is a revelation for the last days, which is still far off." Daniel, because of his advanced age, was constantly fainting. Nevertheless, the divine angel gave him a breath of encouragement, which helped him to discern what was coming out of Gabriel's mouth. "Now I will return to fight against the terrible demon of Persia, that prince who held me back and caused the delay of my message, for he is now fighting with Michael, the one who will now be your prince, for he is the chief of the angels, the most powerful. As soon as he returns, the battle will be easier, for now I have the help of Michael, the only one who came, and we will have to fight against an even more terrible demon when he returns, for then the great prince of Greece, the warrior of the evil one, will have arrived," said Gabriel, thus bidding farewell to the prophet Daniel. Back in the kingdom of Persia, Gabriel saw to Michael that even the evil prince did not appease his power. They continued to confront each other with great fervor and strength, entered into battle, and thousands of demons darkened the desert, giving great fight to the chiefs of heaven. A great endless struggle broke out in Persia, and the great infernal prince was indestructible, and soon a demon even more powerful than him would arrive, giving a twist to the great battle of good against evil, which is said to have never ended.